Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it, guys. We're going to re-review this one from a long time ago. Guys, I did this beer back for review number 200. This was sent to me by my brother Greg, and he writes on this one, Monk's Brew from Mikkeller. Said he bought this on January 13th at a local craft beer store, and he reminds me that I did it for review number 200, and it might be time for a re-review. I could not agree more, especially now that Mikkeller is doing stuff out in San Diego, I think. But this one comes from across the pond again, just like the first one I did. The first one I did was wrapped in foil and cork and cage. This one has a cap on it, but it's pretty full. It's up to here. So we shall see what this brings to the table. My beer palate, it tastes, has changed drastically since I did beer review 200. So we'll see if I'm just as impressed now as I was then. This is considered a Belgian strong dark ale, but it is a 10%er, like I said. Big beer. Final beer of the evening for me. I'm hoping it's just as tasty as it was then, guys. It's not supposed to be any kind of hop forward beer or anything like that, so we should have some big roasted malt, caramel, toffee, dark fruit notes. So we'll see what this brings to the table. See if he's got any better at brewing. He is a master brewer. Mikkeller is. That's Jeffy's brother. So I don't buy a lot of their beers because they're very, very, very pricey here. So I do appreciate Greg spending his hard-earned money on this beer and sending it to me. I'm sure this was a very pricey beer to buy, guys. Wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't in the $20 to $25 range. He did not tell me what he paid for it, but they're not cheap. When they have to send them across the pond, that adds cost to the beer, and they're very pricey, guys, especially in this big 750 milliliter bottle. Great big bottle. Enough to share, which I intend to do. So let's get on with this one. Don't want it to be a 30-minute beer review. Untapped has this also at 10%, but we don't have the IBUs on this. And their commercial description says Monk's Brew, aka Monk's Elixir, is a heavy dark Belgian ale inspired by the Trappist monasteries of Rochefort and Westphalian. And the beer style, characterized by its high content of alcohol, distinguishes itself by the dominant yeast character, delicious malt background, and balanced hop notes. Should be a very nice beer. Even though it can be a little boozy if your palate is not used to drinking this magnitude of a beer, and mine wasn't when I did beer review 200, but now over 3,000, I think my palate is probably can handle this a little bit better. So it all depends on where your palate is, what you're used to drinking, and what you like to drink. So we've got the commercial description, we've got the ABV, we don't have the IBUs, so it is time. Let's get the cap off of this bad boy. A little bit of hiss, not much. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Into the glass we go. And while I pour this, guys, and well, I can say maybe I should go down the center, but it looks like it's pouring a decent head. Food pairings: cuisine, barbecue, cheeses sharp, blue cheddar, your stronger cheeses, sweet beef and grilled meat, glassware snifter, tulip, goblet, chalice, oversized wine glass. I got my favorite tulip glass and can be selling for a long period of time. So, Monk's Brew from Mikkeller. About a half a finger of head on that pour. It is a rich red ruby to brown color. Very dark, little tiny bits of light down through here, but very dark in the big bowl part here, guys. Good looking beer. It really is. Let's get it to the nose. These super big Belgian quads remind me a lot of a barley wine. It's got a nice sweetness on the nose. I am getting hints of some dark fruit right off the bat. Maybe some raisin, dates, or figs. Maybe hints of caramel, toffee, and black molasses. Smells very nice. It's got a very nice sweetness at the back end. The alcohol is not overpowering me now where my palate is. Smells very pleasant. So it's time to dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Greg. Thank you, sir. I don't find this boozy at all now, guys. I did when I did it back on 200. Because I was not experienced and I had a lot of these huge magnitude Belgian quads. There are people out there that would taste this and they would be so boozy they wouldn't like it. Let's just put it that way. Where my palate is right now, it's very, very drinkable. I am getting some nice raisins, plums, figs. Maybe a slight, ever so slight hint of some chocolate, molasses. A very balanced beer. A very tasty beer. That is very enjoyable, guys. To me, right now, where my palate is, and this beer that I'm drinking, it's not boozy at all to me. But there are people that will probably argue with that. It all depends on what you're drinking or what you're used to drinking. Very pleasant aroma. A very nice sweetness on the back end. This is definitely a sipper, guys. Something you would sip on, share with friends and family, instead of popping the top on this and chugging it all down by yourself. That would be rude. That would be rude. And it would be obnoxious and it would be uncalled for. You need to share something like this, especially in this size bottle. God, that's a very pleasant beer. It is a well-made beer. I will give it to Mikkeller. He's got a good one here. This is a very tasty beer. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a pricey beer to buy. If I was guessing, this would be in the $20 to $25 range, more than likely. So I'm gonna probably, and I've looked at the reviews and what people have said about this, and I think it's a well done beer, guys. I will be straight up honest with you. It was impressive to me, but I thought it was rather boozy when I did beer review number 200. I don't find it that boozy now. So we're going to sip on it, pour her a glass, and we're going to come back after it warms up. Might go out on the deck and fire up a cigar to go with this and sip on it for a while. Very nice slicing is left on the glass here, guys. So well-made beer. Well-made beer. I'll be right back. Alright, guys, I'm back. Got just a little bit left here. Been sipping on it 30 minutes or so. It's a tasty beer, guys. I'm not going to argue with that at all. I don't think it's as boozy as it was the last time I had. Of course, my palate has advanced way beyond beer review number 200. I've had a lot of big beers since then, and there are people who will probably find this beer very boozy. I do not. They would probably find this beer, if their palate is used to drinking a magnitude of a 10% in a Belgian quad, probably to be a 10 beer. At one time, I thought this was an outstanding world-class beer. Not so much now. There are beers that are better than this, probably cheaper than this. But I do think it's a well-made beer. I will say that. I'm not going to take anything away from Mikkeller. This is a very nice beer. I enjoyed this beer. I don't know if I would pay the price what this beer costs because it comes from across the pond. But it is very, very tasty, guys. A great final beer of the evening, which it is for me. I don't find it boozy at all right now. And I did when I did beer review 100. 200 when I reviewed it the last time. Of course, it was a little different. It had cork and cage and foil over it, and a little bit more, a couple of more things to make it a little more expensive. This is a cat beer now, but it still is in the big 750 milliliter. A very nice beer. I will say that. I'm not going to take anything away from it. It's a very, very tasty beer. A great final beer of the evening, which it is for me. I don't find it very boozy. It's a very, very nice example of a Belgian quad. Very tasty. Final chug. That is very, very tasty. A lot of dark fruit going on in there. The raisins, the dates, the plums, figs. Slight hint of some bittersweet chocolate. Not much. It's very subdued. I don't find it boozy at all. A great candidate to sell it for as long as you want to. 10% is going to keep 5, 10, 15, even 20 years this beer will keep. So if you find it kind of boozy now, let it sit around and age it a little bit. See where it ends up for your palate. Maybe you'll like it, and maybe you won't. I'm not sure. I did like it. I don't think it's a 10 beer, but I do think it's an A beer. I'm going to give it an A-, 90 in the scale for me tonight. Very enjoyable beer. Like I said, Greg didn't tell me what he paid for this. I do think it probably would be a pricey beer, being this big of a bottle and coming across the pond. But that would probably be a reason I wouldn't buy it if it's a $20 to $25 bottle of beer, which I'm pretty sure it probably was. So, Greg, thanks again, my brother. I do appreciate you spending your hard-earned money on it and sending it to me. It was a great candidate to re-review. I liked it. Like I said, I'm probably not going to give it the grade that I did last time, but I do think it's an A beer, so that's why I'm giving it to A-, 90 for me, guys. So let's run over to Beer Advocate, and they say 3.93, very good. To me, guys, that's their B+ range. I think it's a tad better than that, but if you're grading them on a curve, maybe that is their A- range. I'm not sure. Over to Untapped for our final check-in. They got it at 3.9, also in their B+ range. And if you grade them on a curve, maybe that is into their A- range. So let's give it the benefit of the doubt. I did enjoy this beer. Let's just say the 3.9 is in their A- range. So it's unanimous. 3.9, 3.93, A-. So let's just say everybody thinks it's an A- beer. So if you've had this one from Mikkeller, this is the brand new edition. It's got a different label on it than the first one. Like I said, the first one had a foil and a cork and cage. This is the cap version. I didn't see a dating on it. I kind of doubt that they've dated the bottle. I don't see anything on the label other than Monk's Brew. The back label is very small writing. I'm not going to put my glasses on and try to read it, but it is a tasty beer, guys. So if you've had this one, this has got the guy with the hat and the skull side by side, the half and half. Let me know what you think. Very nice beer. I enjoyed it. So once again, Greg, thanks a bunch. I do appreciate it, my brother. Monk's Brew from Mikkeller. Let me know what you think if you've had the new edition with the cap on it and this label on it. And until we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.